From the break, driving business takes us to the coffee sector, the coffee world. The coffee drama has been ongoing ever since Uganda withdrew from the International Coffee Organization. Well, a statement coming in from the International Coffee Organization says Uganda can only negotiate for better terms if it is still a member of the International Coffee Agreement 2007. It also accuses Uganda, through the Uganda Coffee Development Authority, of snubbing requests for meetings to discuss withdrawal from the global body. Let's have a look at this story, and we do return to talk more about it.
The Coffee Development Authority justified its withdrawal from International Coffee Organization that Uganda needs unconditional market access that allows the export of value-added coffee, not only green coffee. It also stated that the importing countries impose escalating tariffs and restrictions on imports of value-added coffee, citing countries including Germany, Belgium, and Denmark. But the International Coffee Organization said that it has never received any proposals for change in any of its forums from Uganda, and that Kampala officials have turned down proposals for meetings to discuss the same. Ugandan authorities had abundant opportunities but decided not to address these issues within the established negotiation and decision-making mechanism of the International Coffee Agreement 2007 and the International Coffee Organization. Among the conditions submitted to the International Coffee Organization by Ugandan Coffee Development Authority are giving Uganda a chance to add value to its coffee before it is exported and reducing exorbitant taxes on Ugandan coffee. The others are International Coffee Organization's fight to fight price fluctuations in the coffee business, a transparent pricing mechanism, having Ugandan coffee classified based on the country of origin, and International Coffee Organization's desisting from being private sector-led and instead serving the countries for which it was established. But International Coffee Organization also says that whereas Uganda Coffee Development Authority expresses concern about various aspects of the International Coffee Agreement and its renegotiation, 3 of the 7 concerns raised by Uganda have no actual linkage with the agreement itself. Neither Uganda Coffee Development Authority nor Ugandan authorities have ever addressed them at an International Coffee Organization session or any of its subsidiary bodies, such as the Statistical Committee. With regard to the other 4 concerns, the International Coffee Organization has never received any proposals for change in any of its forums from Uganda. International Coffee Organization also accused the Uganda Coffee Development Authority officials of not availing themselves to discuss their concerns. Since receiving the notification from Uganda Coffee Development Authority, the International Coffee Organization and the chair of the International Coffee Council have made several attempts to engage with Ugandan authorities without any response or receiving the reason for the decision of the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. According to International Coffee Organization, Ugandan representatives have not been actively participating in the process of reforming the rules and have never submitted any proposal for change based on their vision and interests nor on the issues raised in the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. The reform process of the International Coffee Agreement is progressing successfully, and the new International Coffee Authority is expected to become even more relevant in support the sustainable development of the coffee sector in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, including the integration of the private sector. Nevertheless, International Coffee Organization said that the order to return to the global coffee body is still open for Uganda. All International Coffee Organization members, as indicated on different occasions, will always be open if and when Uganda decides to join the International Coffee Agreement and the International Coffee Organizations. This comes as Ugandan coffee farmers express concern that the country's coffee could be barred from international markets such as Europe due to the decision by Uganda Coffee Development Authority to withdraw from International Coffee Organization. But the chairman of the Uganda Coffee Development Authority Board of Directors, Charles Francis Mugoya, says International Coffee Organization has made sure that poor producing countries like Uganda do not export processed coffee, which will either greatly increase the earnings for the country and the farmers. According to Mugoya, this is done by the high tariffs that International Coffee Organization members set to Uganda's exports, yet the importing countries do not pay any taxes when processing Uganda's coffee and re-exporting it. Coffee exports from Uganda for 2021 grew to 6.7 million bags, valued at $710 million, the highest in more than 3 decades. It is hoped that this year, export volumes will grow to more than 8 million bags, assuming that the exit from International Coffee Organization will have no effect on the exports. Bahati Ali, Smart 24 TV.
Coffee in Uganda, when you look at our major key exports out of the country, you will never go wrong without mentioning the word coffee, because amongst the families back in the time, where a family that had a coffee plantation somewhere
school fees is
yes,
done.
Then you would actually be recognized as a wealthy family, a family that is well off, if I'm to say. Not
I think
maybe
up to
wealthy,
now, especially in rural setting, when they're trying to gauge or grade someone who has got some money, someone will tell you, yeah, buy nente, buy na coffee, buy nente, buy no mwani. So you will still realize that coffee, when you have coffee, at least even one plant of it, or just maybe two, even if on a very small scale, you're bound to have something at the end of the season, because at least one basin, because I know about a basin, I'm not going to go into kilograms, a bafemu. So you will realize most people in the villages, and that is also as to why you're being cheated as farmers at some point. Because if you're costing it through a bath, or you're selling a basin of coffee, you don't know how many kilograms at some point you're carrying, or that basin is carrying. So the people in the village, for example, in my village, so many people actually kutunda mubafu, especially some people who are ignorant, because about ignorance around coffee, it's still ongoing. Even when during harvesting, because at some point that is when those are all factors to determine whether you're going to have the next yield or a next harvest or not, even the quality and quantity that you will be having. For example, as I'm coming to you, Sonko, when plucking coffee, from the knowledge I got to learn, because I was also doing it wrongly, or we were doing it wrongly. So you just do this. You remove the
whole branch.
Yeah. No, the seeds just or like that. But that's not how they pick coffee. You're supposed to pick one by one and not, damaging this other part of growth. Because I mean, where will the other one now uproot from, or where will it grow from? So you realize people in the villages, most of them bound to do this when picking coffee, and that's the wrong method. At least you've gotten a tip there, Sonko.
Well, on the matters of coffee and what is actually happening, I do hope that what is happening or coming in from reports isn't that right, because we should continue to remain in this unless when government will come out and clarify more on why we would want to withdraw. But for the moment, I do feel we should be under the International Coffee Development, and we need to International Coffee Organization, because
why do you see we need that need?
Because if you want to compete, I believe if you want to compete for the international markets, you need to be part of these people. You need to understand how do they do their things, because when you look at Uganda being ranked among the key exporters of coffee on the continent, that alone gives us that strong foot when we come to such situations. So that means we have a strong say when we are even on board. So it is better for us to
we have been there for some time, and maybe the country has realized they have not gotten maybe what they wanted. So you will join an organization, or you will join a circle expecting something at the end of the tunnel, or something at the end of the goal that you have set. But in case that does not happen, that means you're bound to reset your goals. You're going to find yourself changing your tactics around there. But us withdrawing or staying does not beat us, or does not cut away the fact that we have to integrate with the key players, or the international players, like countries like Germany, Japan, who are good at taking in our coffee and adding value to it. And you will realize that they are even earning more from what we give them, because they put a lot of ingredient, a lot of cassava to eat, you get. So in case maybe knowledge is borrowed from, for example, countries like Germany, how they do it, and then we can do it here, that means that we're going to develop further, and we will maybe have our goal enriched. But if we remain in circles always trying to agree on written agreements, there are always written agreements that are always going to be there, and they tend to be policies, they tend to be just laws that you have to follow because it's written on paper. And most of the African countries, I tell you, Joram, from the reports and observations and the research I have conducted, you will realize that we tend to follow much what is on the paper, but not implementing it. So, for example, they will tell you, even in schools, you will realize that you are being told, oh, it's in a school curriculum or whatever it is, school guidelines, that you have to tuck in your shirt. And you will realize when you've got a sweater on, for example, you tended to cheat on that. You tended not to tuck in your shirt, but rather just fold your sweater. So they're just in policies, just in written, but not implemented. If we want to develop our coffee sector very much, we have to start from the grassroots. That's what I think. If the farmer gets involved on how they should know towards harvesting, how they should know towards planting, even planting and looking after the coffee. Even what soils are we targeting here? Because we have Robusta and Arabica coffee, and these do not grow in the same locality or in the same areas. But you will find how many farmers you want to invest in coffee, Sonko, but you do not know which kind of soil I need, or which areas do I need. Do I go to plant Arabica or to engage in Robusta?
So that, by the way, that information is very key for the local farmers. The dissemination of information is that with the innovation coming up in the world, farming equipment have actually been more enhanced, and then there are new methods of farming that can enhance productivity, better productivity and better produce. So I believe farmers should actually be included in these developments by government, in these projects, because as many we may actually say it is not right for us to actually withdraw. Like you said, it may be when the government realizes that it's better we withdraw and then focus on our own journey.
I like the word focus, because when we withdraw and you focus, not withdrawing and you lose track.
True.
If you have withdrawn, can you now try to beat the competition that you have highlighted that, okay, you have grown, you're a woman enough, I don't know, you have afforded to divorce, or you are now man enough, you have afforded to divorce, can you do better? It is always important, by the way. If you're going to divorce as a man or as a woman, and you decide to leave your husband or wife, can you always do better? It's embarrassing, you have gone out of the home, and the next thing, Sonko, I find you on the street, or I find you very disorganized, you will lose respect. But when you try to, you quit and then quit for the better, it is always inspiring for others to do.
Very true.
And also moving on, we're going to be looking at now for the business processing outsourcing BPO and Innovation Council that have vetted on the potential IT innovators and also professionals who will be representing Uganda to IC sector at the Dubai Expo during the sector Dubai Expo in 2020's Innovation Week in March 2022. Now, last month, actually, the Ministry of ICT National Guidance issued out the innovative individuals to submit out intensive concepts through the website to be a part of the group selected for the IT innovators and also the BPO professionals, that is the business processing, outsourcing around there. Let us look forward on this story and what we expect during that particular entity.
At the Dubai Expo, Uganda is part of the Opportunity Pavilion, which reflects the necessity of financial capital as a resource to support growth and partnerships as a primary driver of innovation and employment. Companies will be selected and provided with an opportunity to interact with investors looking to support innovation as a driver of employment. The vetting processing is in line with the Council's mandate, which entails working with the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance to formulate strategies for creating jobs for the youth through ICT outsourcing and innovation. The opportunity at the Dubai Expo highlights innovations from across the globe that have the potential to make the dreams into reality and shape the future of the nation. About the selection process, the BPO and Innovations Council Chairperson, Professor William Bazeo, said They are keen to select companies that will represent Uganda's national aspirations for promoting innovations to deliver socio-economic transformation. The successful companies that will represent Uganda at the exhibition will be announced next week. Since the BPO and Innovations Council was launched, it has moved fast to pave the way for the ultimate goal for creating employment for Ugandans by making a detailed implementation plan which specifies deliberate, measurable, and time-bound steps to achieve this objective. The council targets to create 20,000 jobs in at least 18 months. Apart from employment, the BPO industry comes with many other benefits, including the increased flow of foreign currency and workforce skilling, among others. As the Ugandan BPO industry develops, a class of confident and empowered local professionals and entrepreneurs will continue to emerge and grow, driving the BPO sector and the entire economy forward.
Well, when you look at what is actually happening, the Dubai Expo will come to an end on the 31st of March 2022. March kicks off tomorrow, Tuesday, and someone said that
February is always 28th.
Someone said for 4 years now, people who are born on the 29th of February will not be celebrating a birthday.
Why not? They're incomplete.
Because every year, last year it was 28 days of Feb, this year it's 28 days of Feb. So we are still waiting till next year, hopefully. They will be celebrating. So I still don't know how they will be calculating their years.
As long as you know you were born, okay. Maybe there are those who were born on 20. Okay, when you're born on 28th, you will wait for the February that comes with the 28th, and you celebrate.
If you're born on the 29th.
On the 29th.
But remember, every year you're making another. So don't wait for that 29th part to come. Just know I think you should celebrate it.
Okay, you just calculate the day. You just calculate the day after 28th. That is your day. Whether it's first March,
just
still
add it to
a happy birthday. But back to business processing, outsourcing, and how they're bound to at least create better opportunities around here. Speaking about expos and exhibitions that we relay as a country, what do you have to say about the last showcase that Uganda made in Dubai?
It is still ongoing.
Yeah, it's still ongoing, but the last one that faced a lot of social media critics, where we were just presenting, we presented milk.
Tea, not only that, but according to what we saw,
according what was in reports.
Okay, according to what we saw on social media,
okay.
I happened to get in touch with a friend of mine who traveled to Dubai, and he says what was depicted on social media platforms was set up by an individual who wanted to actually criticize the government.
That's where I'm coming to.
When you look at the situation, is that the government realized if we say agriculture is our backbone, then let us bring out what is there. Because you're not going to compete with nations like, let's say, the United States, or even the hosts in United Arab Emirates when it comes to technology. For you to bring out your technology and all that, they will beat you at that. So you need to actually display.
That was a good thing, displaying what we embrace, what we know we're good at. Yes, what is ours and what we are good at.
And we are targeting market, and we're also, when you look at the powdered milk, it is actually say that in Dubai there is a lot of market for powdered milk, because remember there is no cattle in there, and the Arabs love taking milk. So when you look at
it was more of a tactic way of a target. They were marketing.
Because
which majority of the people here that were on social media reacting towards that did not understand the reason as to why we had powdered milk around there. It was
and I hear the pavilion had a lot of things, though an individual tried to only take a picture of that to see how Ugandans are going to hit at the government, because he only took some tea bags. I believe it was a tea packet. They took some drums, so you could see it was an intention of someone.
But still, I like the pressure from the public, because it's always the public which drives, at some point, a country's development. If the public, for example, keeps reluctant towards the decisions the government or the authorities have to make, we're going to lag behind. Why? You remember the reactions as to why, for example, Rwanda is marketing itself, visit Rwanda during football.
Through a virtual, and even at the Dubai, they were doing a macho.
And when Ugandans came out to say, hey, look at what our neighbors are doing, I mean, it shouldn't at some point be a bad energy. This is positive energy. We want also to make sure we are out there shining, but where is how and where and when are we going to tap into such opportunities? Because to me, I mean, that's a great challenge. You might have to agree. That just, showcasing, yes, we're targeting, in Dubai we were targeting a certain market. You will realize it's maybe less than 5 or 1 for only people who are around there looking at your product. But a display on an international sport, that means everyone, even who is just passing by, even who is not your target, is going to look at, for example, Visit Rwanda. If we are also to take such an initiative, is going to look at Visit the Pearl of Africa, for example. Even the one who is not, your target will have to not dodge to look at that. So always a target in regards to whether someone is going to buy or not is always good strategy. Yes.
And I believe taking part, if Ugandans do take part in some of these issues by criticizing, because in most cases the government only left one option for the Ugandans to criticize. Why? Because once these policies are laid, Ugandans are not inclusive in the developments of this or in the planning. So you find out that
So
Ugandans are only left with one option. Criticize what is there.
Choice.
Whether it is actually good or not, they will first criticize, not until government comes out to clarify that, hey, we are doing this because we believe it is going to bring and actually help us in this or this. So that is why I'm saying government only left one option for the Ugandans.
And that is also being reflected, Sonko, on towards our pull out or withdraw from the coffee, International Coffee Organization. There are reports and allegations that actually we did not withdraw, but also that will come from the pressure that the public will put on government to pin and thereafter come to explain on that. But more will surely be coming up when we're here to confirm those reports. After being confirmed, surely we will relay them to you. So always be part of SMB.
All right, and being part of us is by growing with us, and try as much as you can to add us up on our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, Smart24TV. Our website is www.smart24tv.com. And remember, you can as well download the Your TV channel app, free on MTN, and you can easily watch, stream, and as well give us those comments on how we are driving your businesses as well. But do remember, we are definitely here to make sure that your mornings get a very good kick starter. We do take a break and we shall return with more business reports.